Dreaming of a beach destination steeped in rich history and culture? Join me in Goa, India. Welcome, Travel Nation, to the Traveling Chzhed. I'm Chzedgrl, and if we're meeting for the first time, welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining us. This channel, I cover travel tips and tricks, give product reviews on travel-related items, and like this video, take you on my journeys around the globe. Today we visit Goa, India. Now, I've had the fortune of going to this lovely beach-filled destination twice in about 5 to 6 years apart. My first journey there was part of my honeymoon when I went on my first journey to India. So the way we went that time and the way we went the second time, we got there two different destinations. We started in Mumbai on both journeys. The first time we drove. Now, the drive is about 594 kilometers. And if you're like me, where kilometers mean nothing because we go in miles in the US, I had to do some digging. It's about 392 miles, which if you're driving across the United States, that is about a 6.5 to 7 hour drive, depending on traffic. Well, in India, things are not as they are here. So that journey took us almost 11 hours and it was beautiful. You got to see some portions of India that you never get to see, but the roads are definitely not as developed as they are here. We had some travel through the mountain passes where it was a 2-lane road. Actually, most of it was a 2-lane road journey, but it was very cool to see the countryside, drive through the smaller villages, and really just kind of see India for what it is and draw some of the similarities to what our nation looks like here in the United States when you get out into the rural areas, and how it is almost the same when you get out to rural India. So we arrived in Goa for our first trip, and I wish I had the name of the hotel that we stayed at. However, my father-in-law booked that, so I do not have that information for you, but it was right on the Arabian Sea. And the hotel was under renovation when we were there, but it was a really great resort. It was, like I said, it was right on the sea, and it's pretty centrally located. It was in Panaji, so right in the capital, and we were able to explore a lot of different areas. Now, our second journey, I did all the booking, so I'm able to share all kinds of information with you on this. So we arrived in Mumbai, India, and then we flew to Goa, and I believe we took SpiceJet was the name of the airline, and they're a very common carrier in India, low cost, great service, and even for the hour-and-a-half journey, they fed us, which you don't, and when I say they fed us, I'm not talking about like the little bag, tiny microscopic bag of like pretzels that we get here in the States. No. This was like a full course, like a hot meal. Like, I believe the plane was still like gaining altitude and the flight attendants were coming down the aisle with the food. It was great. I highly recommend it. So the food was delicious. We ate, and no sooner did we eat that they were cleaning it up and we were preparing to land. So it's not a long flight, about a little over an hour flight from Mumbai to Goa. Now, we landed at the airport and hired a taxi and ended up making that person our kind of taxi driver for the week. We negotiated a price with them, and they then were kind of at our beck and call for the week that we were in Goa. We stayed at Benaulim. We stayed at one of the RCI locations that we booked from the States and traded our timeshare out. It was called Karma Royal Benaulim. It was about 3 blocks from the beach, so it was a very walkable distance, even for my in-laws who joined us on this trip as well. And the area had restaurants nearby, had a small town nearby with a supermarket as well. So it made it very convenient. Now, I think I will break down Goa into areas because while Goa is a state, It's very tiny. I believe it's the smallest state in geographic size in the entire country of India. But if I may, I would like to share some history of Goa with you. A brief Goan history. Goa is located on the Konkan coast of western India. In the early 1500s, the Portuguese took control of Goa and the spice route that went through that lovely area. The Portuguese influence still holds strong today, hundreds of years later, through its numerous Catholic churches, architecture, and just overall Portuguese cultural feel. That's enough history. So now let's take you to the different areas of Goa. So first of all, there is Old Goa. Old Goa is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The entire area of Old Goa. One of the coolest things in Old Goa is the Basilica of Born Jesus. This church is amazing. The architecture of it, like when you walk up to it, you can tell this thing is old. It's obviously a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it even has the remains of Saint Francis Xavier, who was one of the first Catholic Jesuit priests to come to the area and establish Catholicism in the state for the Portuguese. On the same grounds of that church is St. Francis Assisi Church. Again, another wonderful example of Portuguese architecture, whitewashed building, beautiful, beautiful area. So the rest of Old Goa really is just more of a walk around. Look at the architecture, see the history of it, and you will definitely feel the Portuguese architecture alive and well in Old Goa. The next area of Goa that I want to take you to is Margao. This has the Holy Spirit Church, which again is a wonderful, beautiful church. And then my personal favorite is the Gandhi Market, because that is where the shopping happens. Now, I, as a Westerner, do think of a market as kind of like a farmer's market where there's like tents and little stalls. That's not a market in India necessarily. In India, a market is really a shopping street or a shopping district. And it is filled with lots of independent retailers that have everything from handicrafts to custom-made fabric and custom-made clothing, as well as souvenirs. So we had a great time shopping through that area. So one tip is it is a Catholic state. So keep in mind that on Sundays, there are a lot of things that are closed. So don't plan to go shopping on Sunday because most of the markets will be closed. You might find one or two retailers still open, but for the most part, everything's closed on Sundays. So just be aware of that when you go and plan accordingly if you plan to do your shopping. So the next destination I want to take you to in Goa is Vasco da Gama. Now, I mentioned earlier that we landed at Goa International Airport, and part of landing at Goa International Airport is that we're landing in Vasco da Gama. That is where the airport is located. The other thing that's located there is the Marmargo Fort. Now, this is a big historic fort. It was used to fortify the city and to protect Vasco da Gama, which was the original landing point of the Portuguese and the main seaport. So it's an important historic place. It allowed the Portuguese to take control and was really where the first kind of battle happened. All right, so the next thing that I want to talk about is I want to take you back to shopping because the Anjuna flea market is incredible. So it has handicrafts from all over Goa and southern India. And what's really cool about it is you really see the mix of the Indian culture and the Portuguese culture come together in one place. The handicrafts there range from the leather products that Portugal is known for, as well as the fabric handicrafts that India is known for. So like we purchased a leather purse for my mom, we got my husband a leather belt, but then I also found some beautiful blouses that were hand stitched and hand embroidered that were more Indian influence. So there's a wide variety of things at this flea market, and it is a bargain hunter's paradise. There's lots of things there. You negotiate and barter everything and talk down the price that you want. So it's kind of fun in that regard. But the craftsmen there, and the amount of time and effort that is put into each individual piece is amazing. You find things there that you won't find anywhere else in Goa or in India for that matter. So make sure you stop at the Anjuna flea market to do your shopping and get your souvenirs before you leave Goa. So next up, we're going to talk about Panjim or Panaji. They're the same thing, but they are referred to by one or the other. So Panjim or Panaji, interchangeable, same city. It is the state capital. So it is the big bustling city. It is where a lot of commerce is going to happen, where a lot of the action is going to happen. And it also has its fair amount of historic sites. It's one of the most picturesque churches in all of Goa is Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception. It's a beautiful whitewashed church with this elaborate staircase leading up to it. And the setting of it is so cool because it is right in downtown. There's this beautiful park leading up to it. So you get some really cool shots. So right in front of this, though, I have to just talk about food for a moment because I wouldn't be doing India justice if I didn't. So one of the restaurants we ate at was the Kamat Hotel. It is pure vegetarian, South Indian, but the best dosas. Oh my God. So you can get anything from a masala dosa to a paper dosa to any kind of dosa in between. They have it. It's really good quality, low price, wonderful food, and it's literally within viewpoint of the Our Lady of Immaculate Conception Church. So another wonderful place right in Panjim is Miramar Beach. This beach it's huge. It's a big park. Lots of people go to gather there, so it's very lively. There's always like things going on. There's also a lot of little statues and things along the way. Food vendors. People bring their kids there on Sunday afternoons, and so it's a very fun, lively atmosphere. And it gives you some of the best sunset pictures, which I'll show you. I've got some great sunset pictures from that beach, but it is a beautiful destination to just go wander around. I will say people don't swim very much, at least not at that beach. I think when you get more to the resort areas is where you see more of the Westerners actually donning bathing suits and going swimming. Here it's more of a wading area, so people go in knee deep, waist deep, but usually with their regular clothes on. So just be aware of that. It's not that you can't go in a swimsuit and go swimming there, because you can, but just know that you might be the only one doing that. So if you're comfortable with that, go on, do your swimming. But just know that most of the Indian people will not be doing that. They'll be mostly kids and mostly male, wearing their shorts and things like that, and just jumping in and having a good time. So the next area very close to Panjim is Donapala. This is a beautiful viewpoint. Now we went there both times that we went to Goa, and it gives probably one of the best views. You kind of hike up this tall hill and there's a viewpoint, and it's a really pretty overlook. This is actually where on my very first trip, I had an Indian family come up to me and hand me their child to take a picture with them. It kind of threw me off for a bit because I wasn't sure. I was looking at my husband and my in-laws like, is this normal? Like, what is happening? But they just wanted to take a picture. They didn't know who I was. They thought, I might be some sort of celebrity. The fact that I'm traveling with an all Indian family threw them off even more. So they were very intrigued by who I was and wanted me to take a picture with them. So no problem. That may happen to you. I don't know. If you're in a tour, an organized tour, it probably will not happen. But if you're a solo traveler like we were, it could, because they're not used to seeing you off on your own like that. And they will feel a lot more confident coming up to you and asking you for a photo with them. The other thing near Donapala, there is a very nice little market area with a lot of souvenirs and everything right in front of it. So take time to maybe browse and shop through there. It is a very touristy based, and it's very targeting the tourists. This is a stop that if you are on a guided tour, you will likely stop at. So the vendors there know that. They know that the tour buses are coming in. They know that the guided tours are brought there. So just be prepared that the prices are going to be higher. They're going to be less likely to negotiate with you. But go at a slow time or go in the evening when the tour buses have died down, and you're more likely to get a deal. Okay, next up is Ponda. So this area is considered South Goa. And one thing that Goa is known for is fish. It is heavily heavily served throughout Goa and the rest of India. And really there's a Goan fish curry that's very well known and is known throughout India, and that this, especially southern Indian people love. So one of the most beautiful places that we went to is the Chzhedgrl temple. This place, it's got this red, almost orange red color to it, and it looks like it's out of a picture book. Very beautiful, very cool to go into. Obviously be respectful when you're visiting the temples. Make sure that your shoulders are covered. I know it's India, it's hot, but you have to dress respectfully when you're going into any of these religious sites, because you don't want to stand out like you don't know what you're doing. Dress conservatively and you'll be fine. Another really cool temple, and it's more of a temple complex where you can actually rent a room there and stay at the temple, is the Sri Ramnath Prasanna temple. There is one really cool thing there. It's called the Kavli Math. It's like a tower, and it's I forget exactly what it represents, but I'll look it up and put it in the description, so I'm giving you more background knowledge on that if you care. But it's really a cool temple. It's really pretty. We actually went and did a small puja there to kind of bless our family. So it was really neat. It was very pretty. It's a big sprawling complex though. And like I said, you can rent a room there, and it will come with room and board. What is really neat about that, stay in this really beautiful and serene location. And for food, you will only be served pure vegetarian, as it is a temple. They will not serve any non-veg. So just be aware, but the food is really good. It's very healthy, and it's kind of a cool experience if you get the chance to stay at a temple. All right, so finally I want to talk about Benaulim, because that is where we actually spent the most time when we went on our second journey to Goa, and that's because that's where our accommodations were. So Benaulim is a little further south than Panjim and everything. It's probably about, I think it was about 30-minute drive outside of Panjim, but we didn't find it difficult to get around. The area is really nice. It's right off of Benaulim Beach, which is a huge, huge wide beach. It's a great place to go. I did mention it is right by the Taj Exotica resort. So when we would walk down by the beach, we actually passed by the walled off resort area. There's a little side road that goes around it to give you beach access. But we walked by there pretty much every day to go down by the beach. Now we didn't go and do a lot of swimming again. We could have. There were certainly beach bathers there. But what I liked about it, it was very quiet there. It wasn't a loud, raucous area. There were quite a few hotels and resorts right in that area, but it didn't feel like overcrowded. Even the beach itself, nobody was at the beach. It was like you had the beach to yourself. You could walk up and down, and it was just a beautiful area to stay in. We ate at two different restaurants in that area that we actually came to really enjoy. One of them was called Three Kisses. It is this tiny little, I guess for lack of a better word, hole in the wall place. It's like almost like a little shack. And it was on the way to the beach. So every time we walked down past the Taj Exotica, we passed this little restaurant. So we went and had our lunches there often, and they had incredible fish curry and other Goan dishes. And, they accommodated to both the vegetarians in our group as well as the non-veg eaters like myself. And we really enjoyed it. The owners were super very came to talk to us, chatted with us. It is a very casual kind of outdoor dining area, but very cute, very accommodating. What was really nice is you got to talk to the owners, get to know them a little bit, find out how they built their business, and the son is now running it. But it's really a neat location, and it's right on the way to the beach. So if you get a chance and you're in that area, definitely stop by Three Kisses, enjoy the wonderful food and outstanding hospitality by the owners. So the other place we ate, and we had dinner here several times, this was a little bit more upscale, but it was called Jokan's Garden Restaurant. This was the other direction, so it went a little away from the beach, but this was kind of almost right across the street from the Karma Royal Benaulim Resort where we were staying. and their restaurant was really good. It was very fairly priced. Like I said, it was a little bit more upscale, but we ate there almost every night, and it was delicious food. Gave you large portions, and again, the service was excellent. They even had live entertainment most nights, which made it kind of a little fun. They had some singing and dancing and things like that as well. So we thoroughly enjoyed our stay there. What I will say is, as you go into town a little bit, when you're in Benaulim, there's a little area of town where they have a stop and save. It is a smaller shopping market, but it was sufficient for us to get some necessities for the week, so we could make some breakfast, have some snacks in our room and everything. Now, I want to give just a quick review of the Carmo Royal Benaulim, because this resort was amazing. We stayed in a 2-bedroom condo. It was on the 2nd level, and we had a full living room area. We had a kitchen, a fully equipped kitchen, and then we had a 2nd story upstairs where the bedrooms were. The bedrooms were both well equipped. We had 2 separate bathrooms up there, one for each bedroom, and we really enjoyed our stay. We had a nice balcony that overlooked the pool and the courtyard. The pool was quite lively, got a lot of use out of that. Even the other guests were there a lot. What was cool too is they had their own small little market grocery store. So if you forgot something or you didn't want to go all the way into town to pick up groceries, they had some very basic supplies at their little outlet there. They also had a full service restaurant. We did not eat at this restaurant. It wasn't for any particular reason. We just chose to eat elsewhere. But the staff was very helpful, very accommodating. I would highly recommend, even if you're not an RCI owner, they book through booking.com, agoda.com, and other sites as well. So think about staying there. It's centrally located enough that you get around to everything, get to see everything that you need to, without being right in the heart of Lake Panjim. For me, if I'm going on vacation, especially in a beach destination like Goa, I don't want to be in the city. I want to be on the beach or near it. And that's what this resort offered. So I hope you all have enjoyed my sharing of my journey to Goa. It is a great destination, very comfortable for foreigners to go there. They are very much used to foreigners coming and traveling there. It's one of probably the most popular destinations outside of the Taj Mahal for Westerners to visit on any trip to India. If you have questions about Goa, anything that I didn't touch on, any areas that you'd like me to comment further on, please leave them in the comments below. Also, if there's anything that you would like to see in future videos on India, I have some more coming up, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But make sure you leave those in the comments below as well, and I'll do my best to answer everything I can. So please subscribe, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So Travel Nation, I look forward to seeing you next time on the Traveling Chzhed, where I talk about Delhi and Jodhpur. Thanks for watching. See you soon.